Welcome to the Nativity Podcast, where we give listeners a behind-the-scenes look into the life of our active Catholic parish here in Burke, Virginia. How can we help you grow in your own faith? Listen to find out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nativity Podcast. I am your host, as always, Father Ed Bresnahan, parochial vicar of Nativity Church here in Burke, Virginia. With me, as always,
your director of social media, Mary Castellano.
Oh my gosh, we are so glad to have you guys. We had a beautiful Easter. Wonderful and delightful Easter as we celebrate Christ's resurrection. We got a lot of great feedback on our Lenten reflection series. Just a lot of people who tuned in, some of you for the first time. And what an absolutely joyful and reflective time. So
yeah, it was very fruitful for me personally. So I'm really happy we did it.
Yeah. And now we're coming to you with something a little bit different. For the first time ever, right? We've had a few return guests, but they haven't returned in the context of ministry, where we've showcased a ministry or showcased something that our parish was doing. We haven't really brought anybody back for it. I mean, we just have so many things going on in the parish. But a lot of things have been happening in the news, and a lot of things have been happening globally, that one of our ministries in particular, we wanted to share an update because we've been hearing from a lot of you that there's a lot of struggle, that there's a lot of concern about one of our major projects. And so we thought it would be amazing to bring back some of our illustrious guests. And friends, you got to go all the way back to season 1, episode 1, the pilot episode, when we talked about Operation Starfish. So today, joining us is our wonderful director of Operation Starfish. We'll see, guru of Operation Starfish. Anyway, he has been an absolute joy to work with, and it's his 25th year working with Starfish. We welcome Jim McDaniel.
Thank you. Nice to be here, although I consider myself just a worker in the vineyard.
I love it. A worker in the vineyard. And it's quite a big vineyard, though. There's a lot of work and a lot of good people working with you. So joining us along with Jim, we also have our Director of Young Adult and Young Family Ministry, Miss Alison Fram.
Happy to be here.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad to see you guys. So glad to have you both back on our show.
And we're glad to be back here, too, Father and Mary.
Amazing. So now, just to refresh, most people involved at Nativity Parish have a pretty good idea that Starfish is a big thing that we do. But I don't know, how would you describe to either a listener who hasn't been to Nativity yet, or somebody who's maybe just new in the parish or isn't quite sure, how would you explain to them a little bit about what Operation Starfish is?
Sure, Father. Operation Starfish is an important part of the mission of our parish because it adds to the social justice ministry that is very much a part of who we are. Operation Starfish responds to the needs of the poor across the world, and particularly in Haiti, Jamaica, the Caribbean, and Latin America. We do a lot of work at home here in this parish, a lot of social ministry right across the street. Operation Starfish represents that aspect of our ministry around the world.
That's a beautiful answer.
And we love it because that is such a beautiful and all-encompassing answer, right? We really do a lot, and I just appreciate it. There's those two levels to it. One is our work. I think it was Father Martin that used to say that you serve people across the street and across the world. Across the street and around the world. That's it. Yeah. Across the street and around the world. And so the idea is that it's our parish involvement, our parish connection, and the work that we do in Haiti and to places that are beyond. So.
And we always tend in this parish to go to areas of the greatest need. We're not frightened by the violence. We want to take on issues and problems where the need is the greatest, where people are suffering the most. And that's why we have spent much of Operation Starfish in Haiti, doing work there for the people. Unfortunately, right now, Haiti is in tough shape. There are armed gangs who continue to control large areas of the capital of Port-au-Prince. 95,000 people have left the capital city over the last year or so. Most government functions, hospitals, schools, transportation, and charities have ceased to work in that area. Most of these places are closed in Port-au-Prince. The international airport is shut down. The port is closed, so goods are not moving in and out. That's created shortages, hunger, lack of health care, maternity services, and so forth. So the situation is very dire. We are an Easter people. We never give up hope, nor do the Haitian people. And so there is a little bright spot of hope on the horizon, and that is on April 12th, a 9-member transition council was appointed in Haiti to exercise the executive powers, the powers of the presidency of Haiti, until a presidential election can be held. And there was an agreed-upon date of that election not later than February of 2026. So what this does, having this council in place, is it clears the way for a UN security force from Kenya to come to Haiti and start dealing with the gang violence and gain some control and bring some peace to the streets. I noted that just a day or so ago, President Biden approved the first $60 million allocation to fund that force. So there is some hope on the horizon. It has, however, affected the work of Operation Starfish in Haiti. We have our partners in the country, Food for the Poor. Their headquarters in Haiti is closed for the moment. People are working from home as they can. They still have an operation in Cap Haitian on the north coast of Haiti. Most of the violence is centered around the capital and the areas in the southern part of the country. It's less violent in the northern part of Haiti, and the second largest city, which is Cap Haitian, is still a viable place to work and live right now. And so we are continuing to be able to work in that part of the country. Our villages, and there are 13 of them, Nativity villages throughout Haiti, for the most part are intact. Gangs have not attacked or infiltrated any of our villages. There are some gang activity near Good Shepherd Village, which is very close to Port-au-Prince. And so in that particular village, the school has been closed. The principal and the teachers have relocated their families to safer areas, but the village itself is still viable. The problem that people are dealing with in our villages is shortages of food and fuel and the inability to safely get out and obtain health care and services. There are some things that are still going on in Haiti. It's not all bad news. Our midwife training program is continuing 4 times a year at Good Hope Hospital and St. Anthony Clinic in northern Haiti. St. Anthony Clinic is one of our earlier projects, and Operation Starfish continues to fund the operation of that clinic. The birthing kits that we are assembling through our Stella Marina ministry, we'll be doing another kit build the first week of May this year. And beyond that, we're going to try to have the kits built in Haiti. They won't have quite the same materials that we can obtain here in the United States, but we are working with Dr. Eugene Macklin, who heads New Hope Hospital, and Food for the Poor to provide funds for him to obtain materials locally and continue to build the kits there so that midwives will still be supplied with the essential materials that they use in childbirth. The kits that we built here, we're able to get our last shipment in, but it's kind of sketchy as to whether we can get goods into the port in the near future until the UN can get some control over the situation. One of the real bright spots is housing. In Basfosé, which is our latest village, which is under construction now, of the 75 homes that were planned for that, there are only 15 remaining to be built. All the materials are on site, and they're continuing the construction. So we anticipate that Nativity Village at Basfosé will be finished within the next couple of months. There are also 2 schools in there. One was just recently finished, and the second school is under construction right now. So that project is going along very well. We're hoping to start a 14th Nativity Village this year. That will be at Bois-Leroux, which is close to the Dominican Republic border on the north coast of Haiti. It's a fairly safe area. As long as we can get materials there, then we'll be able to start the first of what will eventually be about 60 houses in that community. Because of the changes in scope of our work in Haiti, we've expanded to Honduras over the last year. We built a clinic in El Colirio, Honduras, which is up and running, doing very well. We provided a tractor-trailer load of medical supplies, which was recently shipped there. It has arrived. And so that particular operation is funding. We may be looking at doing a little more work in Honduras this year until we can get back fully into Haiti. And one of our other Operation Starfish projects has been to provide medical school scholarships to needy students in Jamaica. We've had 3 people go through that program. We currently have another young woman named Keone White. She has 1 more year to go, and she'll be an MD. And so that's been a very successful program as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell what's happening in Haiti and what Operation Starfish is doing.
First and foremost, I remember all the way back in episode 1 when I was literally brand new to the parish and we were getting to know Jim to realize just how big starfish is. Like, it's not just a little one you find on the beach. It's a very large starfish. And, you know, I mean, it's wild to me when people ask me about like what Nativity is and, you know, what Nativity is like. I always say like, okay, well, you know how at your parish you guys build a house? And then literally just casually, yeah, we built 75 over here and 60 houses over here. I mean, it is an incredible scope, right? An incredible scope. And I remember initially thinking when I had first heard about a lot of the civil unrest and the collapse of government in Haiti, I was thinking to myself, we have whole villages over there that are at risk. And so it's certainly very comforting to know, at least at the present moment, that while things are very difficult, most of our work has been rural and has been out in away from the main capital and a lot of the gangs and the violence. So,
and one of the interesting aspects of life in Haiti is that the people generally have not been used to or dependent on strong government, and so the government basically has failed. After the president was assassinated a couple of years ago, there's no Supreme Court, there's no legislature. You know, there really is no government. But yet people go on, their lives go on, and that's because they've never really been used to having a government. They find ways through local co-ops, through sort of a tribal approach to problem solving. They find ways to get day-to-day life, get through day-to-day life. They're very poor. They certainly need assistance for the most part, but they have all these little techniques like bartering and things like that help them deal with day-to-day life without the necessity of a strong central government. And Haiti has a long history of not having good governance right from the very beginning.
And it really makes the work of Operation Starfish so effective because so much of what we do is not simply handouts, but empowerment. Right, to like medical scholarships, birthing kits to help midwives in their profession and to help doctors in their profession of delivering children.
And the classes. I mean, they literally teach them how to, you know, do these things safely and properly. Yeah, so it's not just, like you just said, Father, not relying on a handout.
Right. Yeah. And another aspect of the difficulty right now is the loss of expertise from Haiti. A lot of our village concept relied on once you take care of the basic needs for people, housing, clean water, sanitation, healthcare, schools, then you get into some kind of self-sustaining activity that produces revenue and jobs for the community. In some cases, it was fish farming. In other cases, it was sewing centers or agriculture. the people who give us the expertise to get those projects underway have fled the country. So that's another aspect of our work that we've had to adjust to. And we'll get back to once the country stabilizes. But for the time being, we've had to be satisfied with taking care of basic needs. And then the self-sustaining part is suspended until we can get expertise back into the country.
And I think what you're saying, Jim, too, has been a concern for parishioners, especially people that have been here for a while. Are we abandoning the people of Haiti? I think, like for myself, I remember hearing about Operation Starfish as a middle schooler here. And, so it's in your brain that we want to be dedicated to the people there. They've given us we've learned so much, especially those of us that have been able to travel. But hopefully it's encouraging and reassuring to hear there's still so much that we want to do, we want to support. We're being creative where we can with expanding to other countries, but not abandoning the people of Haiti.
No, we will never do that.
Incredible.
So maybe, Alison, maybe you can give us a little bit more of your background, because when we've had you on, I think Father said we've had you on at least twice here onto the podcast, but I don't think we've ever directly talked about your experiences going on mission trips in Haiti. So maybe you could just give us a little bit of that background.
Sure. I was first connected to Jim professionally when I was hired here, and that was in 2015. But I remember seeing Jim when I was younger, as in your involvement in Operation Starfish, Jim. Having grown up in the parish, I heard Father Martin share stories, and I think it was really impactful because he would just get up and in his homily, it wouldn't be an Operation Starfish weekend. He would just share an experience that he had or a story he remembered. So that kind of storytelling made an impact on me. I mean, as a kid, how much I remember hearing about it. It didn't change the way that I was acting, but I heard the stories. And then in 2015, when I was hired here, Father Bob was interested in starting more outreach to college students. So what's one thing we know a lot of college students are interested in? We know that they're interested in service trips, immersion trips, mission trips. So that was when Jim and I were first connected, and we started talking about bringing young adults, being college students, college-age students, to Haiti. And that was my first experience of being in a country that's so different from ours. And in kind of speaking about it over the years, I think something I've noticed is my worldview was not the reality. I kind of thought everything was like it was in Burke, and being able to bring our own students there, see their encounters with people and how it transformed them both spiritually. They felt like they were seeing Christ in the people there, but then also, okay, now I wonder if maybe I want to change my major and maybe I want to actually work to better the world. I mean, that was such a privilege to be able to see that. But for myself, I can think of moments where we visited an orphanage in Haiti and just holding on to little children's hands and just kind of thinking like, oh my gosh, this is real. This is real. And when I go back home, thank God Operation Starfish has supported this orphanage and the children are taken care of. But I can't forget, now that I've seen this, I can't just go back home and pretend like, my life is the same. So I think what I've benefited from, and then being in my position on staff and working with these ministries, is being able to share, once you learn about this, once you see someone whose life is different, you're then responsible, right? We can't just pretend not to know anymore. And that looks different for everybody. But I think for me, it was just, seeing a commitment to, I've now experienced something. I want to be able to share that with other people. And our hope is to just continue getting people through the parish to have encounters like that. And maybe that's here in Burke. Maybe that is going on a mission trip eventually. But yeah, that's kind of been my experience.
Yeah, amazing. And kind of going along with that, you had led a number of these a number of years ago, but because of the turmoil in Haiti, we've had to maybe hold off on making trips to Haiti. But this year we have a trip where we have some of our leadership and some folks who have signed up to go. Can you maybe talk a little bit about
Sure.
this? This sounds. I mean, I'm excited. I'm sad that that's not me. I'm sad. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's Father Bennett is going. But there's a part of me that's like, boy. I mean, wow. Like, but this is incredible. So what is this that is
Coming
you're
up.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
it's coming
conspiring,
up.
but like, what's the word?
Sure. So I guess just in brief and general, I think we've seen the benefit of going on a mission trip because it gives those people those opportunities for encounters. But then because our parish is so large, when you have people coming back and able to share those stories, that's transformational too, because not all of our 6,000 families can have an experience like this. So in the past, we've gone to Haiti twice. We've gone to Jamaica as well. And then this summer, our plan is to go to Honduras and visit the clinic there that Nativity is supporting. And I mean, that's a whole other place that we haven't traveled before. And to be able to come back and share what we saw there, I mean, I hope that's, I'm excited. I'm excited about that opportunity and also getting to know a new community of people. And I think I speak for Jim too. I mean, it's not a one-way street of Nativity provides funds and then we go down and we kind of like, yay, look at what we did. It's incredible to learn from different people and to see what they've been able to do. And we come back and maybe we also see an area of need there, as Jim mentioned, that we could try to meet with Operation Starfish in the future. So that's in July.
Yeah, and I think it's important to clarify. I think you said we've been to Haiti twice. That's since you've been on staff in
Yeah, that's just me.
2015.
Yes.
We've been to Haiti since 99. I guess technically Father Martin started this ministry informally, I guess, in 98. And though, again, like Father Bresnahan said, you can go back to episode 1 and listen to the full story. But I just think that's important for people who haven't listened to that episode to know we've been to Haiti as a parish many times.
Lent of 1998 was the first time that Operation Starfish was part of the parish, and wasn't even called Operation Starfish then. It was just Father Martin's attempt to try to make the Lenten sacrifice more meaningful by taking small gifts and doing something for the poor with them. So by the end of Lent, a basket that he had put at the back of the church held $67,000 in it. This is 1998. And with that money,
Inflation.
27 houses were built by Food for the Poor in Haiti. And so the following February, Father Martin took a group of us to Haiti to see the houses we built and meet the people who were living in them. And from that first effort came a 25-year program that has built over 1,500 homes in 13 nativity villages in Haiti.
It's just incredible. You mentioned encounter and sharing. I've never been to Haiti myself. We had maybe talked about it a little when I was kind of working as Alison's assistant before the pandemic, but in hearing their encounters, hearing their witnesses has been really impactful on me, especially as an outsider. So I didn't grow up at this parish. I grew up in Maryland. For most people probably listen to this podcast know that, but I love sharing. This is like when people ask, tell me something about the parish where you work. I usually lead with Operation Starfish, and usually like kind of what Father was saying when we first interviewed Jim, like your jaw is on the floor. Like it's like that's
the scope, right? I mean, it's just the sheer scope of what Starfish has been able to accomplish. And then it's just sort of casual when we sort of say, okay, well, like without abandoning Haiti and still maintaining, villages in Haiti and a lot of the programs and doing what we can. Also, we casually are adding several other countries. I mean, it's just, it really goes to show that the power that one parish is able to do when they're motivated and directed, and they're not just directed in terms of a pass the basket enterprise, right? I think that was so clear. Again, if you go back to episode 1, it was so clear. I think Jim even like corrected me right from the beginning, which is good. It's just I needed it, where the recognition was that the first goal of Starfish was encounter. That the first goal was to say, look, we're sharing ourselves with you, and we're excited because you're going to share some of yourself with me. And so that encounter makes it, like you said, a two-way street. And there's something so much more powerful and potent. And it makes it even more heartbreaking than when these are our brothers and sisters who are in this very dire situation, who are very much struggling. So there's not just, oh no, what will happen to our village, but rather, well, let's really consider and pray for the people who don't have access to the things, and let's get creative about how to make sure that they're able to get some of the needs met that they otherwise wouldn't.
And that's really the essence. I think you heard some of that in Alison's description of what she took back from her encounters with the poor. It's that connection heart to heart, that sense of compassion and empathy. That's what's really important. A storm could come and wipe away all the houses, but we still have a connection heart to heart with the people who live in those houses, and we will not let them go. There's so much to learn. You mentioned it's a two-way street. We do bring the resources that we have to bear on some of their physical needs and problems, but we also learn from them. They teach us, these are people who are desperately poor, and it's the deepest poverty that I have ever experienced. I mean, they have absolutely nothing. They struggle day to day just to get a little bit of food, many of them. They give birth in dirt huts, it's just, but yet when we are there, they share with us what little they have. And they teach us about hospitality. They teach us about love of the stranger. They teach us about joy. Surprisingly, we laugh, we sing with people who haven't eaten in 2-3 days. Of course, we try to feed them too while we're there, but we actually share joy with some of the poorest people in the world. And that's the power of this encounter.
You just reminded me of a story of that when we were on our trip. I think it was in 2017. Father Bob was with us, and we were going to see one of our new villages. And we'd been there a long time. We had to go to the bathroom. And I was so embarrassed to tell one of our Food for the Poor leaders, I'm so sorry, can we go somewhere so we can go to the bathroom? We're in a village in the middle of nowhere. And these families who we've just blessed, dedicated their homes, are grabbing us by the hand and they're not saying it in English, but they're pulling us, essentially, please use our bathroom. It would be such an honor if you would come in here. And all of us were talking about later, we had to accept the gift of them sharing this with us. How generous is that to just say, you've just given us this new home. Oh my gosh, come on in, do whatever you need to do. It was just, that was a really cool moment. And it was, we learned from them, just their hospitality.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought a bathroom would make for a spiritual experience?
And it allowed them the dignity of giving us a gift.
Exactly. We had to receive. Yeah.
So it's so sobering. We can talk about this ministry very casually here in the office because it's, 26 years into it. It's, okay, we got an Operation Starfish meeting, we got a Food for the Poor meeting. But when we really get down into it, it's just I'm picturing myself in that kind of situation. And I'm like, oh man, I don't think I do too well. I could use some of that humbling that you're that you're talking about. I also think it's really cool having this discussion shortly after Easter, when for the long, for 40 days we're talking about almsgiving and sacrifice and all these things. And I kind of like how we're not intentionally, but we're kind of continuing that theme a little bit into the Easter season. And so maybe one of the things that you guys can talk briefly about now is, we mentioned Operation Starfish Weekend. So what is that for anybody who is not familiar, for anyone who is new to our parish or is not connected with Nativity? We mentioned what the ministry is, but then what is the weekend in particular, and why the first weekend in May?
The first weekend in May represents the anniversary of Father Martin's passing. He was such a charismatic leader in this parish, and was so loved that we honor him every May on the weekend closest to his anniversary by having recognition of him and Operation Starfish at all the masses. We do a collection at that time, which helps us fund the work to come in the coming year. And we always have guests. This year we have the President and CEO of Food for the Poor coming. We have the new vice president of Food for the Poor. We have Delane Bailey, who has worked as Nativity's coordinator of our project work with Food for the Poor for many years. And Delane has a beautiful voice, and she will probably be singing at the masses. And we may have a special guest this year. We're hoping that Keone White from Jamaica will come. Keone is a beautiful young woman who is just about to finish medical school with the help of our scholarship. And she wanted to personally come and thank the parish for making a difference in her life. She would not have been able to afford to go to medical school if it weren't for our help. And so she will be here, and she'll speak to us about the difference that it's made in her life.
Know that, and there's usually like a video among some other things, and then at least at one of the masses, they had Father Martin's family was sort of there, and in the past they've been.
Yeah, we hope that his brother, maybe his sister, will be able to join us that weekend. They usually have been able to do that.
Yeah, so incredibly a great opportunity to reconnect the parish to the beauty of Starfish, and then also to connect us back to the past, to the legacy that we've been building here. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong, but is Nativity kind of the flagship with Food for the Poor in this kind of work, in working together with a single parish to make all this change happen? Or are there other parishes that Food for the Poor works with to this degree?
Food for the Poor works with churches all across the country. Nativity is very unique with them because we are sort of a catalyst to bring other churches together on projects so that we can expand the scope of work. Several times Nativity has provided seed money to a project, and then other parishes join in to fully fund that project. So many churches across the country feel that if Nativity is involved in something, it's something they want to be a part of too. So that's our unique relationship with Food for the Poor.
Mm-hmm. And just going back to the weekend briefly, the benefit of that too is new families who've joined the parish who don't know the history. You know, they might just come to that mass and then all of a sudden learn something about what our parish does. And also I think it touches on the scope that we've been talking about. Children in religious ed or school sometimes collect coins, and then you get to see that weekend, in a video that's played, and you get to hear, or you get to meet a woman who's been supported by a scholarship, and you just think, oh my gosh, we all put in our little, and look what God is able to do with that.
And it really is across all ages. I think I literally just visited our first graders today, and our first graders were in charge of the virtue of the month. And the virtue of the month is honesty. So they showed me their little presentation on how to be honest to one another and to tell the truth. And then they also mentioned that their charity this month, so the charity that they'll be asking for donations for and everything, is to support Stella Marina, to support the group that provides those birthing kits and everything. And so it's kind of a beautiful thing that, like, even little first graders, right? They're 6, they're 7 years old, and they're still able to articulate how they want to make a difference in the world. Mm-hmm. And they do it by this incredible encounter, which also kind of begs the question, right? Because, all right, we've got Operation Starfish Weekend coming up. We've got a huge demonstrated need, right? Haiti has never needed the Nativity villages more than they need them now. And in the middle of all of the turmoil, to provide some sort of anchor and stability. But it feels a little impossible. The task feels a little daunting. So what would you tell, or how would you tell the parish, not to be afraid, but also how can we encourage them to participate this Starfish Weekend and to participate in the work of Starfish?
I think the most important message is the message of Easter, to not give up hope. The people of Haiti haven't given up hope. They depend on us not to do that either. And so while the logistics or the specifics of the work that we can and can't accomplish this year is probably not at the scale in Haiti as it has been in the past, we are still about to start a new village. We're hoping to build 20 houses in that village this year, finish the 15 and the school in the last village, and continue to fund the St. Anthony Clinic and some of the other projects that we have going in Haiti. So the need is continuous. There still will be a lot of work done in Haiti. We'll continue to work in Jamaica and Honduras this year as well. So my advice, I'm looking out your window here, and I see the children being dismissed from Nativity School at the end of the school day. And I'm thinking about them and the story that you just mentioned about the first graders trying to find a way to make a difference, and they have. And so everybody listening to this podcast can make a difference. And it doesn't have to be with money. I would encourage everybody to look at the opportunities that God gives you every day right in front of you. Doesn't have to be Haiti, doesn't have to be Honduras, doesn't have to be Appalachia, where we build houses every year through our Knights of Columbus. It can be the person that you encounter at the grocery store who looks like they're having a bad day, and you give them a smile and a hello. You've made a difference in that person's life. We all have those opportunities. They're right in front of us. Use them.
Incredible. We have the opportunities. They're right in front of us. Use them.
Bumper
I love
sticker.
that. Bumper sticker.
Jim McDaniel.
Put it there. Jim McDaniel, probably. Oh my gosh. No, I mean, I love it. That's like what we're talking about here. That's it. It's
and you
like,
don't have to write a check. I mean, you don't,
no.
These kids walking out of school today, they have opportunities every day. A classmate who's maybe not doing too well, to put an arm around them and, just be a pal. There are so many ways that we can make a difference in our world.
Last month, the saint of the month for the students was Saint Therese of Lisieux, who is the patron saint of missionaries, even though she only traveled about 10 miles from the house she grew up in her entire life. And I love that, because it does not take much to be a missionary, right? And the way that she described it was that she wanted to spend her heaven doing good on earth, and that she wanted to let a shower of roses fall, and all from this simple idea that you can do ordinary things with great love, right? Yes, money is helpful, but also the Lord doesn't want your coins. He wants you, right? And so how do you give your heart to the Lord? And one of the best and most effective and visible ways to do that is by loving Christ in our neighbor, and being able to see our brothers and sisters who are most in need, and being able to simply reach out. And if that's money, if that's time, if that's our prayer, whatever the case is, being able to say, no, what I have, I give.
Yeah, that's often a kind of a wrap up coming back from a mission trip. We talk about kind of what's next. You're not meant to live that experience every week after week. We can't just keep getting the high of having these really intense missionary experiences. But kind of we go there, we wear Food for the Poor t-shirt, you're going to encounter people. You're in that mindset. And we've said too, what would it be like if I walked into the Target in Burke as if I was wearing my t-shirt, and I'm open to having encounters with people? And it's just a complete mind shift switch. And that's, like Jim has shared, like you said, Father, that's something any of us can do at any point. Like St. Therese, you don't have to travel in order to do that. Yeah.
You're already equipped for it. You were baptized and confirmed.
I love it. Oh, thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. And you guys did already answer our last question, which was, what is the kind of big takeaway from Operation Starfish Weekend? And I think you guys just painted the picture beautifully. So thank you guys so much for coming on for the second time, or the third or fourth for you, Allison, but definitely Jim.
Thank
you
so much. This has been just a really just beautiful conversation.
Always good to spend time with all of you.
We tell people we're a fun bunch, and I think that's true. We're a fun bunch. So, in terms of action items for people, though, I think it's incredibly important that we first and foremost continue to pray for the ministries, to continue to pray for Starfish, Food for the Poor, Stella Marina, Fishing for Hope, and the different kinds of agencies, to pray for the clinics, and the doctors and the other folks who are still in the country doing their best, praying for peace and praying for some stability in Haiti, and pray for our missionaries. We've got this group of folks with Father Bennett and Alison heading down to Honduras, and it's going to be a beautiful representation of the work of Nativity in the world, they're going as ambassadors in a very real way. And so praying for their safety as we kind of open up this tradition that brought Jim to the community 25 years ago, and that brought Alison in a number of years ago. So who knows who will be inspired by this year's mission trip. So please keep them in your prayers.
Yeah.
Mary, any shout outs?
I feel like we need to shout out just all the people from Food for the Poor. For anybody who doesn't know, they're a non-profit that's based in Miami. And I meant to say this earlier, but it slipped my mind. They're not specifically Catholic. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I know a lot of them are Christian, maybe some of them are Catholic, but this really kind of is an ecumenical effort, an ecumenical outreach. And I personally just think that's really beautiful. It's really cool to meet them every May when they come for Operation Starfish Weekend, and they participate in every single mass. So definitely shout out to them and all of the work that they do day in and day out. And they really embody that hope, I think, that you were mentioning. And I mean, the person that comes to mind, just because her voice just rings in my head every time this year, is Delane Bailey. I always look forward to her singing Awesome God. I mean, if you look around the pews for people who remember that was Father Martin's favorite song, you might see like tears in people's eyes. It's really just very striking. So Food for the Poor in general, but especially their team that comes up every year, definitely want to give them a shout out.
Well, with that, I mean, friends, like I said, I mean, we can't thank you guys enough for this. This is absolutely joyful and incredible. And I think especially for me, incredible comfort. Comfort in knowing that we're not abandoning Haiti, that we're not turning away from our mission just because the lack of a government and the unrest and the gang violence has created a situation that's very difficult for us to maintain. I think that ought to resonate with a lot of us anyway, because wherever you are in your life, sometimes it can feel like maybe your spiritual life can sometimes suffer because maybe you're more busy, right? A mother who gives birth to a second child, or someone who changes jobs or something like that. And they're very simple answers, but oftentimes we have to figure out how to adjust in those situations in order to still grow in our faith. So in a real way, being able to take comfort in the fact that just because the situation has changed in Haiti doesn't mean that we have changed our mission and our goal. So, and it's beautiful to see that we're expanding it. So it brings great comfort. And I hope that especially as we approach Starfish Weekend, this, coming up, that people will continue to be incredibly open and generous to how the Lord is inspiring them, and the Lord is asking them to join us in this mission.
Amen.
And with that, friends, let's take a moment. Remember to like and subscribe. She hates it when I say it.
It feels so shallow.
It
talking
does.
about like,
Yeah.
like
we're talking about world things, but also like us and subscribe
Oh
us. Oh my gosh. No. But seriously, remember that the best way of sharing the podcast, if this has inspired you, if any of our other podcasts have inspired you, the best way to share it is by word of mouth. Tell your friends and family about us. And don't be afraid to share us wherever podcasts are heard.
I do want to challenge people. This will be my personal challenge, that if you've personally been struck by what you've heard today, share this with one person, just one person on your phone right now, a family member, friend, a fellow parishioner, your priest. If you're listening from another church and you're like, hey, this is a really cool idea. How can we help as a church? How can we hop on this mission and continue to further and help our brothers and sisters across the street and around the world? That is my mission to you. I don't care. At the end of the day, we're not doing this for likes and subscribes. This just helps get the mission out. So that's my challenge for you all today. So with that, we will be making more episodes as the summer goes on, and we do hope to share kind of more powerful stories of personal encounters of people here at the parish and the good work that we are doing. So stay tuned.
And with that, pray for us and we'll pray for you. God bless you guys.